the operator intervene. From his previous brief, the Deputy Prime Minister will have extensive knowledge of the harm these inducements cause.
The courtroom was tense, the air thick with anticipation, and then Angeal Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, visibly shaken, her eyes welling up as she faced the judge. Accused of abusing her power to interfere with elections and under investigation for potential tax fraud, Rayner stood at the centre of a political scandal that could shatter her career. Was this the moment that would bring down one of the most powerful figures in British politics?
In the UK, Deputy Prime Minister Angeal Rayner is planning to create a council on Islamophobia to draw up an official government definition of what they do.
In early 2025, the UK government, led by Deputy Prime Minister Angeal Rayner, announced a decision to postpone local elections in 9 council areas. This move was part of a broader plan to restructure local councils, aiming to enhance efficiency by transitioning from a 2-tier system to single-tier unitary authorities. The official narrative emphasised that such restructuring would streamline operations, reduce bureaucratic redundancies, and bring governance closer to the people. By consolidating services under one authority, the government argued that residents would experience improved service delivery and clearer accountability.
Them, but also the authorities' response. Someone like Joe White are listening to the pressure from Reform UK and are responding. Will the government behind me do the same thing?
OK, Christopher Hope, thank you very much. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? The attacks on reform from Labour.
However, this decision was met with significant opposition. Critics contended that the postponement was less about administrative efficiency and more about political strategy. They argued that delaying the election served to curb the momentum of emerging parties, notably Reform UK, which had been gaining traction in these regions. Nigel Farage, leader of Reform UK, was particularly vocal, accusing the government of manipulating the electoral process to disadvantage his party. He claimed that the postponement was a deliberate attempt to stifle the democratic process, especially in areas where Reform UK was poised to make significant gains.
Could do more of it. Can I ask the Deputy Prime Minister which quote is from the PM and which is from the Leader of the Opposition?
The controversy surrounding Angeal Rayner deepened when it was revealed that police investigations extended beyond potential electoral law violations. Reports indicated that authorities were examining tax matters related to Rayner's residential arrangements in Stockport during the 2010s. Allegations surfaced suggesting that Rayner might have provided false information on the electoral register while residing between 2 former council houses. Additionally, there were claims of possible tax fraud concerning the sale of one of these properties, with suspicions that capital gains tax may have been improperly reported or evaded.
And within days of getting a government, Labour Secretaries of State were giving up newly won powers for the sake of our towns and cities, with the Prime Minister leading the...
The expansion of the investigation to include tax matters had significant implications for both Rayner and the Labour Party. For Rayner, these allegations threatened her political career and personal reputation. Being at the centre of such investigations can lead to diminished public trust and questions about one's integrity. For the Labour Party, having a senior figure embroiled in legal troubles posed challenges to its image and could potentially impact its standing with voters. The party had to navigate the delicate balance of supporting Rayner while addressing the concerns raised by the investigations.
Rather than focusing on playing politics, we're actually delivering for the British people. I listened to the Honourable Lady's litany. I was interested to note that her leader has been in power for 100 days.
In May 2024, Greater Manchester Police concluded their investigation, stating that no further action would be taken against Rayner regarding the housing allegations. This outcome was a relief for Rayner and her supporters, as it cleared her of the serious accusations that had been looming over her political career. However, the episode highlighted the intense scrutiny public figures face and the potential for allegations to disrupt political proceedings even when they are ultimately found to be unsubstantiated.
The next Labour government will pump money back into the pockets of local communities, the people who built Britain. Consider this: a third.
Angeal Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister and a prominent figure in the Labour Party, recently found herself at the centre of a legal storm that has captivated the nation. Reports emerged of Rayner appearing visibly shaken during a court appearance, facing allegations of abusing her power by blocking Reform UK's election bid. This development has not only raised questions about her political future, but has also sparked a broader debate about the integrity of the UK's democratic processes.
Suggesting that Nigel Farage's Reform UK is poised for a breakthrough at next year's Holyrood elections, winning quite a few MSPs.
The allegations against Rayner are serious. She stands accused of leveraging her influential position to interfere with the electoral prospects of Reform UK, a rising political force led by Nigel Farage. Specifically, the charges suggest that Rayner may have orchestrated delays or cancellations of local elections in certain areas where Reform UK was gaining traction, thereby hindering the party's ability to contest and potentially secure seats. Such actions, if proven true, would constitute a significant abuse of power and a direct affront to democratic principles.
UK workers as well as support US workers as well.
I want to ask you a question that is a point that is being put repeatedly by viewers this morning, and it's summed up by Lisa on Facebook. Good, she says in response.
In court, Rayner's demeanour was notably distressed. Observers recounted moments where she appeared on the verge of tears, a stark contrast to her usual composed and assertive public persona. This emotional display has been interpreted in various ways. Some view it as a genuine reaction to the gravity of the accusations and the potential consequences she faces. Others speculate that it might be a strategic move to garner sympathy and sway public opinion in her favour. The legal arguments presented against Rayner are multifaceted. Prosecutors allege that her actions were not merely administrative decisions, but calculated moves to suppress political competition. They argue that by postponing or cancelling elections in specific councils, Rayner aimed to prevent Reform UK from capitalising on its growing support base. Such manoeuvres, they contend, undermine the very foundation of a fair and free electoral system.
And Labour will unleash the power of procurement to drive up standards. And today I'm announcing our value for money guarantee. Our pledge to ensure that every single penny...
If found guilty, Rayner could face severe repercussions. Beyond potential legal penalties, including fines or imprisonment, her political career would likely suffer irreparable damage. The Labour Party, already navigating a complex political landscape, would be thrust into further turmoil, potentially losing public trust and electoral support. Moreover, such a verdict could set a precedent, leading to increased scrutiny of governmental decisions related to election scheduling and administration. The emotional weight of this situation cannot be understated. For Rayner, a politician who has risen through the ranks and broken numerous glass ceilings, these allegations strike at the core of her life's work and legacy. The public too grapples with conflicting sentiments. Is Rayner a victim of a politically motivated attack, or did she genuinely overstep her bounds? This dichotomy has polarised opinions, with some viewing the proceedings as a necessary pursuit of justice, while others see them as a targeted effort to dismantle a powerful female leader. This case also brings to light the broader challenges inherent in balancing political authority with democratic integrity. Elected officials are entrusted with significant power, but that power comes with the responsibility to uphold the principles of democracy. When actions are perceived to be self-serving or detrimental to fair competition, it erodes public confidence and threatens the legitimacy of the entire political system.
And instead, Conference, we will use the power of procurement to boost local businesses that work for Britain. With Labour, they will no longer...
As the trial progresses, the nation watches closely, aware that the outcome will have lasting implications not just for Angeal Rayner and the Labour Party, but for the UK's democratic framework as a whole. Regardless of the verdict, that this episode serves as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between governance and the governed, and the perpetual need for transparency, accountability and integrity in public office.
Correspondent of The Scotsman, Rachel Amery, the Reform UK Glasgow councillor Thomas Kerr, who recently defected from the Scottish Conservatives, and the former SNP MP Hannah Bard.
In the wake of the government's decision to postpone local elections in 9 council areas, Reform UK, under the leadership of Nigel Farage, has mounted a vigorous campaign against what it perceives as a blatant subversion of democratic principles. Farage, never one to mince words, has characterised the postponement as completely outrageous, asserting that millions of Reform UK supporters are being unjustly denied their right to vote.
Said this morning it remains committed to securing a lasting peace in Ukraine. That's in response to America's decision overnight to temporarily stop all...
Farage's indignation stems from the belief that the election delays are a calculated move by the government to stymie Reform UK's burgeoning momentum. The party has been making significant inroads in various regions, and the postponed elections were seen as pivotal opportunities for Reform UK to convert its growing support into tangible political power. By pushing these elections back, Farage argues, the government is effectively pulling the rug out from under a legitimate democratic process.
You need to be the de facto Scottish leader as well. You're not looking to get...
No. Nigel is the leader of Reform UK and he will be leading us in the election.
OK, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you all very much.
The crux of Reform UK's argument is that the postponement undermines the very essence of democracy. Elections are the primary mechanism through which citizens express their will and hold their leaders accountable. Delaying them, especially in areas where opposition parties are gaining strength, sets a dangerous precedent. It suggests that those in power can manipulate electoral timelines to serve their interests, thereby eroding public trust in the political system. In response to these developments, Farage and Reform UK have been vocal in their demands for the immediate reinstatement of the postponed elections. They argue that any administrative or structural reforms cited as reasons for the delays can and should be implemented without infringing upon the electoral rights of the populace. The party has mobilised its supporters, organised rallies and leveraged media platforms to amplify its message, framing the issue as a battle for the soul of British democracy. The broader implications of this standoff are profound. If the government's decision stands, it could embolden future administrations to adopt similar tactics, using bureaucratic justifications to delay or alter election schedules to benefit the ruling party. This would represent a slippery slope, potentially leading to a gradual erosion of democratic norms and institutions.
Well, first of all, it's not either or. I think the Prime Minister outlined he made some very difficult decisions around where the money was going to come from for our defence, and this is...
Moreover, the controversy has galvanised Reform UK's base, potentially increasing its support among voters who might have previously been apathetic or undecided. Farage's framing of the issue as a fight against an overreaching government resonates with those who feel disillusioned with traditional political establishments. This surge in support could translate into significant gains for Reform UK in future elections, reshaping the UK's political landscape. The recent controversies surrounding Deputy Prime Minister Angeal Rayner have sent ripples through the UK's political landscape, raising concerns about the Labour Party's stability and prospects. As a friend discussing these developments, let's delve into how this scandal might impact Labour's approval ratings, potentially open doors for the Conservatives or Reform UK, and what it means for future elections and Rayner's political career. Angeal Rayner has been a prominent figure in the Labour Party, known for her advocacy of social justice and workers' rights. However, recent allegations regarding her tax affairs and the use of donor gifts have cast a shadow over her reputation. In April 2024, a poll by Ipsos revealed that Rayner's favourability ratings remained relatively stable despite the controversies, with 25% viewing her favourably and 37% unfavourably, similar to the previous month's figures. However, the broader Labour Party hasn't been immune to the fallout. The same Ipsos poll indicated that 34% of respondents viewed Labour favourably, while 38% held unfavourable views, resulting in a net rating of -4. Although this marked a slight improvement from the previous month's -7, it still reflected underlying challenges. The situation worsened in subsequent months. By September 2024, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's popularity had plummeted, with a More in Common survey revealing that 60% of Britons doubted Labour's chances of re-election, and 17% of Labour voters expressing regret over their choice. The turbulence within Labour has presented potential openings for opposition parties. The Conservatives, despite grappling with their challenges, have seized the moment to critique Labour's handling of internal affairs and governance. Defence Secretary Grant Shapps accused Rayner of double standards, highlighting her past criticisms of others in similar situations. Reform UK, under the leadership of Nigel Farage, has been particularly vocal. The party has accused Labour of running scared, especially in light of discussions about cancelling local elections in certain areas as part of Rayner's devolution drive. Reform UK's spokesperson claimed that such moves were a direct response to the party's rising popularity, suggesting that Labour aimed to stifle democratic processes to maintain control. This sentiment resonates with a segment of the electorate dissatisfied with traditional political establishments. Reform UK's positioning as an alternative could attract voters disillusioned by Labour's controversies, potentially reshaping the political landscape in upcoming elections. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.